The definition of Mudarabah contract is the partnership contract between the Rab al-Mal, the capital provider, and the Mudarib, the entrepreneur, which means that Mudarib will manage the capital provided by the Rab al-Mal for the purpose of investment. Any profit derived will be shared between them at the mutually agreed profit sharing ratio. However, in the case of loss, only the Rab al-Mal will bear all the financial loss, and the Mudarib will lose in terms of his effort, time, and also his energy. And also, he is not liable to bear with the financial loss unless the loss is due to his misconduct, negligence, or breach of specific terms.
I will present the legality of Mudarabah. Mudarabah is a valid legal contract based on evidence from the Quran, the Sunnah, and Ijma or Qiyas. The first one is evidence from the Quran. There are several verses of Quran that indicate the legality of Mudarabah. For example, and others who travel in the land seeking the bounty of Allah. This is not directly address the legality of Mudarabah, but they have expected to include those who travel for the purpose of trading and seeking permissible income. Next, evidence from Qiyas. Some Muslim scholars provided analogy on validity of Musaqah, which is agriculture partnership, where the owner of orchard turns over a specific number of fruit-bearing trees to others who will tend in exchange for a specific portion. Therefore, they claim Mudarabah and Musaqah are needed. Last but not least is evidence from the Sunnah. It is the act of the Prophet ﷺ who used the word as a mudarib for Khadijah before they got married.
Mudarabah divided into two types. Firstly, Mudarabah mutlaqah, unrestricted Mudarabah. Okay, my classmate, repeat after me. Mudarabah mutlaqah. Mudarabah mutlaqah, which is unrestricted Mudarabah. Secondly, Mudarabah muqayyadah, restricted Mudarabah. Again, repeat after me. Mudarabah muqayyadah. Mudarabah muqayyadah, restricted Mudarabah. Mudarabah mutlaqah, which is the unrestricted Mudarabah, is a contract in which the capital provider, Rab al-Mal, permits the Mudarib to administer the Mudarabah fund without restriction on the type of work that has to be done. For example, the specific location, the time, and also the method of payment of the investment. And next, Mudarib also have a wide range of trade or business freedom on the basis of trust and the business expertise that has he acquired. But some scholars from the Imam Shafi'i and Hanbali schools have opinion that the Mudarib can only enter into the act such as loan taking or lending with the permission from the Rab al-Mal, who is the capital provider. Okay, next, my classmate, we proceed to the Mudarabah muqayyadah. Again, repeat after me. Mudarabah muqayyadah. Okay, good. Okay, so Mudarabah muqayyadah is the restricted Mudarabah, which is Rab al-Mal, the capital investor or capital provider impose a specific restriction on the Mudarabah terms and condition. For example, the determination of type and period of investment, location, and also the commingling of the fund. The meaning of the commingling of fund, which is the mixing of fund belonging to one party with the fund belonging to another party. For example, like the Mudarib will mix the fund belonging to the capital provider A with the capital provider B. And also, any other restriction as the Rab al-Mal considered appropriate to the Mudarib. However, guys, the restriction under Mudarabah muqayyadah would not unduly constrain the Mudarib in his operation. For example, certain restriction or limitation imposed by the Rab al-Mal or the capital provider on a Mudarib would not excessively or reasonably limit their ability to conduct their business or operation effectively and efficiently.
Now, we move to the basic rules and condition of Mudarabah. The first one is related to Mudarabah capital. Mudarabah capital must be in the form of cash. Immovable or movable asset cannot be served as capital due to error in the value that will lead to uncertainty in the profit and loss. However, there are different views from some scholars. They said the capital need not be in terms of cash only. It also can be in terms of property, but the value of the property must be determined and agreed on the day contract is concluded. The capital must be present during the conclusion of contract and determined in terms of its value. Next one is Mudarabah profit. The mechanism for distributing profits must be clearly known to eliminate the uncertainty. The profit must be on basis of agreed percentage and all the parties should agree with the ratio. Important to note that although the ratio of profit must be fixed upfront, it can always be structured on different tiers as it is done with mutual consent. Mudarib cannot claim any remuneration for the work done, but it is permissible to contract a separate agreement. Termination of Mudarabah. Before the start of Mudarabah work, the contract is regarded as a non-binding contract and can be terminated by either of the two parties by giving notice to the other party. Once the Mudarabah work has started, Muslim scholars have different views on whether the contract can be terminated by one party without the consent of the other party. The first one is, the majority of Muslim scholars stated that the contract can be terminated based on the fact that it is a non-binding contract. However, Imam Malik viewed that it can only be terminated with the mutual consent of the contracting parties.
Next, we go to the second last content in the Mudarabah contract, which is application of the Mudarabah contract in the contemporary Islamic finance. Number one is the restricted Mudarabah investment account. Number two, Mudarabah contract also apply in the unrestricted Mudarabah investment account. Thirdly, in the corporate financing. And fourth, in working capital financing. And fifth, in Mudarabah suku. And lastly, in takaful investment. Lastly, we should discuss about the salient Shariah issue in the contemporary application of Mudarabah. The figure above illustrates the modus operandi of unrestricted Mudarabah investment account. Okay, my classmate, we start with the number one. The customer, Rab Alma, placed an investment of 1,000 ringgit in the Mudarabah unrestricted investment account with the Mudarib, which is the Islamic bank. And number two, the customer, Rab Alman, and the Mudarib Islamic bank mutually agree on the profit sharing ratio. And next, number three, the bank or the Mudarib will invest the fund in the Sharia compliant investment activity without any restriction from the Rab Almal or the customer on the management of the fund. And lastly, number four, if the investment generate profit, both parties shall share the profit based on the predetermined profit sharing ratio. However, in the case of loss, the Rab Almal or the customer shall slowly bear with the financial loss, but the Modori or the Islamic bank shall only be financially liable if the loss is due to its misconduct or negligence.
That's all from us. Thank you.